We're going to have about an hour meeting total. Half of it is going to be a motivational lesson on attitude, skill, and knowledge. And then why we're all here is to recognize top performers. And you know, some of the people in this room have been top performers, like Lenny, who goes back to my start 20 years ago with this company. And others are brand new. Some are based on numbers and stats, and some people are being recognized for what I talk about today, which is the combination of attitude, skill, and knowledge, their work ethic, how personally they take their job, what they bring to every single shift. So what I want to start off with is the handout that says life is too short. I came across this walking to work one day. I saw this card store that had a bunch of cards, and I saw this, and I just had to have it. It says, life is too short to wake up in the morning with regrets, so love the people who treat you right, forget about the ones who don't, and believe that everything happens for a reason. If you get a chance, take it. If it changes your life, let it. Nobody said life would be easy. They just promised it would be worth it. And then I noticed Harvey Mackay. And I was a disciple of Harvey Mackay's business books back in the early 80s. Has anyone heard of Harvey Mackay, the guy who wrote that card? Okay, you should Google him. Harvey Mackay was a multimillionaire, self-made at 27. He started an envelope company when there was no Staples. Okay, he started his own envelope company, and his whole premise about what made his business in Minnesota so profitable was what we always talk about in our business. There's 4 R's: retention, renewals, results, and referrals. Pretty interesting that this guy ran an envelope company and made millions doing that based on the 4 R's that we're all about: retention, renewals, results, referrals. Okay? In his book, his famous business book, which is still an all-time bestseller, and hopefully one of the reasons why you're here is you say, well, that guy's been doing it for 33 years, maybe I'll pick up something today. My greatest strength is my hunger for knowledge all the time. And I hope that I can share with you what I've seen 33 years in the business, made every mistake, had every victory, and everything else in between. And I try to share information that I've gotten outside of our business and bring it to our business. And Harvey Mackay's book, Swim with the Sharks, which is an all-time bestseller. Guy's been on TV a bunch of times, and like I said, definitely Google him. He has a element to his book, Swim with the Sharks, where he calls it the Mackay 66. And he required all the salespeople in his organization to know a minimum of 66 things about their clients. So if you sold envelopes for Mackay's company in Minneapolis, you needed to know your client's birthday, their kid's birthday, what school they graduated from, what was their favorite food, what was their favorite football team, when was their wedding anniversary, and on and on and on. 66 things you needed to know about your client, because he believed everything was about relationship building. And whether you work the front desk, whether you're an overnight person, whether you're the morning opener, whether you're a personal trainer who's been doing this for 15 years, NASM, ACSM, or a brand new membership consultant, it's all about building relationships. And the beauty about our business is you create your own reality every single shift. One of the things I love about the stat report is that you'll notice the #1 producer in this company for EFTs was Lisa Jimenez. And we could start applauding right now. And that is a prime example of creating your own reality. Because you can go to West 14th Street and it looks like one type of club. You come here, it looks like another type of club. You go on the Upper East Side, Staten Island, you go to East 14th, and there are elements that are shared, but it kind of looks like they're all different companies. But Lisa came with a work ethic and a hunger for knowledge. And again, everything I'm going to talk to you about is broken down to 3 things. What's your attitude? Are you enhancing your skill set? and you're building your knowledge base. And one of the things that makes me so fired up about doing today's meeting was being able to recognize somebody like Lisa, who doesn't work at 31st Street, the fanciest club with the most amenities. She works at East 14th Street, and she makes her own reality happen, and she hustles, and I don't think it's a coincidence. She didn't just come to my stuff on Friday afternoons. She used to also come one-on-one and meet with me on Saturdays after a shift, okay? So I really want to emphasize the fact that everyone has control over their attitude, which is the overriding issue. What I want to do is now have you turn the page, and you'll see it's called Asked For It. Yeah, down to the last one. All right, if you didn't get a handout, I did 75. It's great to see that we have more than 75 people here. Please share, and also George is taping, so hopefully you'll get a good version of all of this. But you know, if you've been in my sales training before, you know that I'm a big believer in Tony Robbins. There's a lot of people in the motivation industry, success coach industry, who really don't have the goods. Tony Robbins does have the goods. He's a proven winner and builder of champions, and his big principle is pain and pleasure. That if you have an incentive to reach a goal that is tremendous, regardless of whether it's financial, getting a promotion, being able to afford to send your kids to private school, drive a better car, live in a better apartment, take weekends off in the summer because you're a personal trainer and you kicked ass Monday through Thursday, so it's like, I'm going to the Hamptons and I'm going first class. That's what Tony Robbins would talk about as far as pleasure. When it comes to pain, Tony Robbins would talk about what's your sense of loss, the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat, okay? So I'm letting you know right now, I'm going to touch on both, pain and pleasure, because the strongest companies understand that's what drives people. What drives people is the fear of loss, the fear of failure, the fear of not being number one or number two, or showing up and seeing a list of stats and being at the bottom. That should bug you. It should also make you feel great when you're top or in the top 5 or you're being recognized. So when I talk about in the first handout, and hopefully some of you, if not all of you, are taking notes, I left this open. I created something about 20 years ago called ASK, Attitude, Skill, Knowledge. And I believe everyone in this company is in a position, based on their attitude, to enhance their skill set and improve their knowledge. So here's the first thing I would say: you asked for it. If you're working on your 3rd job in the last 3 months for synergy, you asked for it. If there's a turnover, if you haven't been able to stick with the job or stick with the location, it was probably because of your attitude, your skill, your knowledge. And most importantly, it was probably your attitude. Because very rarely is someone not going to be retained in a position if they're low maintenance, low production. I'll tell you when you have a problem. If you're high maintenance and low production, you got a problem. In our business, it's the golden rule. Whoever has the most gold rules. So you can be high maintenance if you're high production. Okay? And I've been around the top trainers, the top salespeople, the top managers for 33 years. They have very strong egos. They are generally high maintenance. And you can get away with that just like you can in sports or the military or a Fortune 500 company. If you are a rain man, you can make it rain, they'll look the other way. But if you're high maintenance and a low producer, you're expendable. Okay? If you thought you'd be a manager by now and you're not, you asked for it. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you asked for it. If you have a bad reputation, you asked for it. If you got fired for stealing guest fees, taking direct payments as a personal trainer, oh, believe me, you asked for it. If you're in and out of drug and alcohol rehab, you asked for it. And one of my handouts today is hard work is more important than talent. Again, hard work more important than talent. I'm not going to name the person's name, but in 33 years, one of the most talented trainers is no longer with Synergy, not because of talent, but because he couldn't leave his personal problems outside the door. And that, to me, is a tremendous wasted opportunity. So of the attitude, skill, and knowledge, guy had all kinds of knowledge, tremendous skill, but the attitude was, you know what? Snorting cocaine was more important than showing up for work and helping my members get in great shape. It's a sad decision. If your owner thinks you're not an asset, thinks you're replaceable, you ask for that. If you don't know how to give a fun, creative, challenging workout, you ask for that. Because the ability to go online, the ability to find out what the top trainers in Dallas and Thailand and every place around the world is doing for abs and MMA and everything else in between, it's all out there. So believe me, when your clients are saying they're not going to renew because their financial situation changed, what they're really saying is, you haven't made it worth it for me to continue to make that investment. You haven't made it fun. You're taking me for granted. You're not doing the extra stuff I need. Okay? You asked for that. When someone doesn't renew with you, you ask for that. If you're not comfortable enough to ask your members for referrals, there's something missing there in that relationship. Okay? If you're a salesperson, you're not hitting your quota, you ask for it. If your name is not called today, believe me, you ask for it. And if you're a trainer in this room and you charge only $50 an hour and you still can't get it, and the person to your right or the person to your left charges $90 an hour and he's booked all the time, you both asked for it. Okay? Turn the page, folks. That's a little taste of the pain. We brought the pain, but that's okay. We build to a climax at the end, and you'll all be cheering your asses off. It's good to feel pain. If you had a bad day and you were able to sleep at night, you're in the wrong business. If you lose a client you're not sweating that and pissed off at yourself, you're in the wrong business. Okay? Get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Okay. The more skill and knowledge you get, the better you get comfortable. But attitude is what it's all about. You should be uncomfortable hearing no. It's uncomfortable. Give a great workout, present them, you hear no, 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 no. Okay, that's uncomfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to hear no 6 times because you have 7 yeses. The numbers never lie. Whether you're working in New York, LA, Dallas, Texas, St. Louis, Missouri, working for Planet Fitness, working for Equinox, get ready to be uncomfortable because you gave the best workout and they still don't get it. You gave an incredible tour and they still aren't ready. You've got to hear no 6 times. Stay on course. Keep the mission in front of you because you are motivators. That person in front of you right now who's not doing personal training, they need you. The person who you're giving a tour, who's not working out, who's part of 80% of America who doesn't do what we do, needs you. But it comes down to 2 things: information and motivation. You got to be able to inform them why they need us, why they need you, and you got to motivate them to act today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, and certainly not New Year's resolution, which is the biggest load of media crap ever. Raise your hand if you think anybody we deal with needs to be in better shape in January than they do in August. Okay? It's about right now. Right now. Get comfortable. All right? Is it uncomfortable working a closing shift 9 o'clock on a Sunday? Hell yeah. 9 o'clock on a Sunday, there are other places you'd rather be. But your owners, your managers, they notice. They notice who is putting on deals overnight. They notice who's showing up on time. It's not comfortable working some of these shifts. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Because everything important that you've accomplished in your life, you had to earn. And it became that much more special. All right, if you aren't being held accountable, if you're on a production stat list against your peers, if you find it uncomfortable to be on a scoreboard, you got to embrace it. It's part of the industry we're in. We're in the mid-market, for-profit side of the industry, okay? If you don't like a scoreboard, you got to go work for a gym that pays you $9 an hour to rack weights. That's okay. There's no scoreboard there, okay? If you want to be in this industry and you don't want a scoreboard, again, there's a Disney cruise ship leaving out of Cape Canaveral, and they got a gym on it, and as long as you fold towels well and you can wear the Mickey Mouse ears, you're good to go. But at Synergy, since 1996, we got a scoreboard. And every single shift, somebody wins and somebody loses. Every month, we either win or we lose. There is a scoreboard. Embrace it. If it makes you uncomfortable, get comfortable anyway. It's like when I've interviewed people and they say, I don't really like sales. Really? You don't like getting people involved in exercise and helping them reach their goals? Because, ladies and gentlemen, that's what sales is in our industry. It's not selling them something that doesn't work. It's not asking them to spend time on something that isn't beneficial. So this nonsense about I don't like to sell, that means you don't like what you do for a living. Because you know who the best trainer is? The one with the most satisfied clients. They weren't handed to him or her. They earned them. The most successful membership consultant is the one who got the most people through the door on their guest pass, set the most appointments, got them to show, and got them to join on their first visit. That's what we do. We all sell. Get comfortable with the idea of selling, okay? Because if you're not selling, you're not moving forward. It's all about getting people involved in our lifestyle. And again, 80% of America does not do what we do. So we are fighting the good fight. We have a righteous calling. There's an amazing amount of talent in this room. You could be selling cars. You could be on Wall Street selling securities. You could be selling insurance. You're here because you want to get as many people involved in the lifestyle we call fitness and nutrition as possible. As possible. Okay? If you're uncomfortable asking for referrals, that's all about your attitude. It's not about skill or knowledge. I mean, can Lenny, after 20 years in this business, ask for a referral with a little bit more flavor to it? Yeah. Well, that happens with everything. Who's not working out better or playing basketball better or playing tennis better 5 years in, 1,000 hours of repetition? We all are, okay? But I could tell you that asking for referrals, which is at the cornerstone of everybody's career in this business, whether you're a personal trainer, whether you're a membership consultant, asking for referrals is all about selling yourself that you've earned the right, because you've built the relationship the right way, to say, hey, as far as people at work, who would you like to bring in next time? Which one of your neighbors in your apartment building would you like to come in? I'll give them a complimentary workout. If you have any second thoughts about doing that, I think Best Buy's hiring, because you guys are in the wrong room. If you can't ask friends, family, and coworkers of our members to refer their friends, family, and coworkers, why are you here? If Lambros came up to me and said, who do you know as a next door neighbor who loves to work out or really needs to work out, and he's been taking me through a great workout for the last 6 months, I would start to give him names, because he's earned that right to ask. That's what everyone in this room has to get comfortable with. You got to learn how to ask for referrals because you believe passionately in the industry you're involved with. Last but not least, if you're uncomfortable dealing with putting out fires or babysitting adults, you are not a manager at Synergy, okay? That is what you have to get comfortable with. So if you're trying to climb the ladder and get your own club and be a Synergy manager and eventually earn your spot like the owners have in this company, you got to understand, it's dealing with what makes you uncomfortable 7 days a week, all day, every day. If you want it easy, that's Equinox. If you want to earn your bones, that's Synergy. Okay? Turn the page. If you don't know who this is, you are definitely in the wrong business. This is the Austrian oak, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Everybody pities the weak, jealousy you have to earn. Okay? Let's talk about Arnold. I've met Arnold several times. Exactly how you would expect him to be. Charismatic, forceful, doesn't take himself too seriously, loves to make jokes. Okay? When I talk about attitude, skill, and knowledge, I know of no greater example than Schwarzenegger, okay? The A in Arnold, the first letter, that's about his will, not his skill, okay? His attitude, not his aptitude. That's what drove his hunger to be the best, all right? Shadi, is he the best bodybuilder of all time? Okay. He's the best bodybuilder of all time. He was a millionaire just from his real estate investments. He has an MBA from the University of Wisconsin. He was the #1 action star in the world with one of the worst accents ever known to Hollywood. Okay? And he was the governor. I came from California. He did some damage there, but he was still the governor. Okay? So if you want to have a role model for success in not one industry, not two industries, but a half a dozen industries, you say to yourself, how did he do it? Not to just be successful, but to dominate each industry. He had a mission, okay? And it was always about attitude, skill, and knowledge. And then the bodybuilders who would watch him, this quote was about jealousy. Now, the best bodybuilders would watch him, and they'd replicate him, and they'd ask him questions, and they would not be jealous of him. And that's what I'm asking everybody in this room to do. When you look at your stat sheet today, don't be jealous. Don't say, well, that's because they work at that club, and that's because they get all these walk-ins, and this, that, and the other thing. Don't be jealous. Call Milos up and say, congratulations, awesome job, can I buy you lunch? Call up Lisa and say, Lisa, phenomenal job. I'm really proud of you. Can I buy you a cup of coffee and pick your brain? That's what makes us a special company, okay? There's no room for jealousy. It's all about what we call in business sharing best practices. You got somebody who's great at putting together corporates? Find out how. They're great at selling personal training at the point of sale? Find out how. They're great at getting former members to rejoin? Find out how. They're great at doing an MMA workout? Find out how. Don't be jealous. Don't be envious. Be proud. Be proud that you're part of a team, a Synergy team, that has some tremendous skilled people who have amassed a lot of knowledge, but the common denominator is the attitude. Okay? Arnold is my ultimate definition of a PhD. Okay? Be a doctor of fitness. Be a doctor of nutrition. Be a doctor of personal training. Be a doctor of management. Proud, hungry, disciplined. Okay? How do you show your pride? Before and after results. You're a trainer in this room? I hope you look good, but it's not as important how good your clients look. I mean, I'd never get tired of talking about how long I've known Lambros and how exceptional his before and after results are from his clients and the attention to detail of weighing and measuring them on a weekly basis. That's why he's a champion. That's exceeding expectations. That's the P in PhD for pride. It takes unbelievable pride in the position he has. Hunger. How hungry are you at closeout? Are you coming to closeout because you have to? Or are you coming to closeout because you know it's an opportunity? And it shouldn't be first and foremost an opportunity not to get in trouble. If I don't go to closeout, I get in trouble. If I don't come to the awards meeting, I get in trouble. It should be about, why are you in this industry instead of selling something else or managing a Chipotle? You're in this business and hopefully in this room because you want to help people reach their fitness goals. End of story. End of story. So if a closeout gives us all the machinery needed to get as many people as possible off the couch into working out, I'm on board. Are you guys on board? Yep. Let's hear it. Okay? So this next closeout, come up and say, awesome. This is an opportunity for me to get more ex-members to come back. This is an opportunity for me to get more current members who are not transforming their bodies. We failed them. Why? Because we didn't push personal training enough and we didn't push nutritional counseling enough. That's what changes bodies. Getting a membership ID to Synergy walks you through the door. Those are tools. How well people use those tools are going to dictate what kind of results they get. If you really care about keeping the promise that you made to those people you signed up, it's your obligation to get them involved in personal training. Because the vast majority of people fail are the ones who train on their own. That's why 60% of the people who join a health club in the United States never make it a year. And that's a crime. Okay? So I want you to take tremendous pride and come to closeout with a hunger to get as many people involved with personal training, as many misses back, as many former members back, as many living social and Groupon wannabes into a lifestyle we call fitness. The D in PhD is for discipline, and that probably sets as many top performers apart from the average as anything. Again, getting back to embracing what makes you uncomfortable, it's not always fun setting appointments, calling the same person who keeps blowing you off, confirming appointments, giving a great tour, not cutting corners, but that takes an amazing discipline. It takes a discipline that you have a choice of flipping a switch. Anybody could have somebody come in and say, they can't afford personal training, I'm just going to cut right to the cheapest membership. Okay? It takes a discipline to say, I've never met this person before, I may not meet him again, I have one opportunity to give the best absolute presentation I possibly can. That takes discipline. To get on the phone, to send texts, to send emails, to make phone calls, that takes a discipline. Okay? So I wish you all a PhD in our business. Be proud, be hungry, be disciplined. Turn the page.